This is this is very fun. Hello everyone, back with me again, Dennis Wang, and welcome back to Anycubic Photon Mono 4K in-depth test and review. This is part 2, the print result. If you haven't checked the part 1, I suggest you watch it first for the printer build quality. And now before I show you the print result, I want to share a nice feature that not every printer have. And let's say you just apply lubricant to your lead screw and rail. So you want to move up and down the build platform to spread the loop. You could press home, and then you could press up on 10 millimeters. It will recognize the max Z height, and the build arm will safely stop at the top. Out of area. Operation invalid. But remember, you have to press the homing button first. If not, this will happen. Now I have the print result from Photon Mono 4K on the left, and on the right is Sonic Mini 4K for comparison. Let's have a look at the stability torture test. Each time I apply new lubricant, I will move up and down the build arm about 50 times to spread the loop evenly. And this is the first test. There is no wobble lines, but I could see I have a shifting lines here. So I did the second test. The shifting line is gone, but I have a bad print lines around here. So I clean the original lubricant. I apply super loop, and I have less bad print lines. So I clean super loop again, and I apply dry PTFE. Somehow the bad print lines is back. And for the final stability torture test, I clean the dry PTFE and I apply super loop again. And yes, super loop is the best answer to lubricate the lead screw and linear rail. And next, let's have a look at the antialiasing for Photon Mono 4K. I was very excited when I checked the user manual. There is a talk about the antialiasing and image blur. So I put it to the test. This is the first one, and this is antialiasing off. This is antialiasing 4. This is image blur 4. And this is antialiasing 8. This is Antialiasing 2, Grayscale 2, Image Blur 2. This is antialiasing 8, grayscale 8, and image blur 4. And this is antialiasing 4, grayscale 4, image blur 3. And for comparison, this is antialiasing image blur 2 from Sonic Mini 4K. So considering the antialiasing barely working, the image blur doesn't work, I will do the print comparison to Sonic Mini 4K all without antialiasing. And for your information, both are print with Phrozen Aqua Gray 4K resins. And this is the settings for Photon Mono 4K. And this is the settings for Sonic Mini 4K. Now let's have a look at Sergeant Silus. And the same with my review on Sonic 4K. Stronger light intensity always causes the print to become a lighter color. But both details are quite equal. The chainmail holes both appear. For the eyes detail, the helmet, and let's look at the shield. Let's check the side shoulder. It is very hard to tell which one has a better details. I would say both are equal. Now let's have a look at the smaller Sergeant Silus. For the smaller Sergeant Silus, I could see that the holes here still appear on Sonic Mini 4K, and on Photon Mono 4K is kind of close. But other than that, I would say both details are quite equal. Let's have a look at the helmet details. The scratch here, very visible on both, very good. Let's have a look at the shield. And let's have a look at the right side. Several days ago, I made a post about this figure called Yinsylim and Elven Paladin from DM Stash, comparing the print with and without antialiasing. And I could read that many of you comments that this figure doesn't need antialiasing because it has a very high details. So this figure will be perfect for comparison with Sonic Mini 4K, also without antialiasing, considering Photon Mono 4K antialiasing doesn't fully work. And for your information, if there's any firmware update for Photon Mono 4K antialiasing, I will make video about it again. Now let's check the details. On the left is Photon Mono 4K, on the right is Sonic Mini 4K. Now let us have a look at the face details. The chest armor, the tie, now let's have a look at the sword details. Now look at the shield. And honestly, for me, it is very hard to tell. What do you guys think? Let me know your opinion in the comment section. Now let's have a look at the cloak. For the hairs, and yeah, at the same post yesterday, someone mentioned he could notice some voxel for the hair, but I would say it makes good additional details for the hairs. The gauntlet, Anycubic details is kind of more visible for the gauntlet compared to Sonic Mini 4K. I'm not sure it is because of the lightning. What do you guys think? This is for the chainmail here at the calf. Okay, it is hard for me to decide. I would say both are equals in terms of details. Now let's have a look at the next object for comparison. Now let's have a look at this 1/6 scale head sculpt. Inside the eyes, we could see there is a voxel, but let's pay attention to the forehead. Somehow it seems to me if Photon Mono 4K, the pores details is not very visible compared to at Sonic Mini 4K, and this could be the result from a very strong light intensity. This is even at the lowest settings, only 30% print at 1.6 seconds, and this is at 2.6 seconds. Okay, other than that, let's have a look at the cheek. At Sonic Mini 4K, there is a quite visible and voxel here, but I don't see the same voxel on Photon Mono 4K. Now let's have a look at the 1/12 scale. Both have voxel around here. Also inside the eyes. For details, what do you guys think? I would say quite equals. Voxel around here, the same with Photon Mono 4K. Is there any voxel around the neck? Yes, I could see voxel on Sonic Mini 4K here, but not very visible voxel on Photon Mono 4K. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Now let's have a look at the another object. So I print this head sculpt again at 1/3 scale. I want to check the details. On the left is Photon Mono 4K, on the right is Sonic Mini 4K. Both has a very good details for the pores and the skin wrinkles. Do we have voxel inside the eyes? Yep, we have voxel inside both eyes. Now let's have a look at the side of the head and the neck. Very good. Both don't have foxholes. On this scale, both look very awesome. Okay, let's check another comparison. And for these letter prints, both are print without antialiasing. We have a slight bubble here during printing, but that is fine. Let's look at the details. For the embossed letters, very hard to give my opinion. I would say both are equals, even with the extrude leather. I would say both have an equal quality for details on letters. For this Wiremesh, 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1. Definitely Photon Mono 4K is the winner because it managed to print much more mesh compared to Sonic Mini 4K mess. It's a mess here, not a wire mesh. You could see the 0.1 holes. This is definitely a win for Photon Mono 4K. Now let's check the dimensional accuracy for Photon Mono 4K, and I will measure the x-axis on this 20 times 20 millimeters cube. Very good. Now let's check the y-axis. Surprisingly very good in dimensional accuracy. This is unexpected from Photon Mono 4K considering the price. Now let us have a look here at this Hetzer tank that I print, one on 45 degrees and one at 40.6 degrees. This is I'm calculating the arctan angle because the antialiasing doesn't really work, so we have to rely on arctan angle when printing on Photon Mono 4K. And at 45 degrees, we could see a bad lines here, and with arctan angle, it is a very smooth surface here. Very ugly details line on 45 degrees and much better surface here. And at the back, quite nice surface on 45 degrees and a very bad surface on the arctan angle print. So on the left here is print from Photon Mono 4K, on the right is from Sonic Mini 4K. Both are print at 0.03 millimeters, and by calculating the layer height with the screen resolution, we come up with 40.6 degrees. Now let's check the details on both. At the surface here, both are equals, and at the bottom, yeah, both are just the same ugly surface. Let's check the details. Very hard to tell. I would say both are quite equals. So honestly, because I am very surprised with the dimensional accuracy, I decided to print this famous articulated dragon. This is 40% from the original size, and this is 25% from the original size. And after I checked the tolerance for the articulation, this one has like 0.3 millimeters tolerance, and this is at 0.5 millimeters. Now let's see how well the articulation, because yeah, the dimensional accuracy. Oh, 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 oh. I don't wanna damage. Okay, okay. Okay, the 40% is free. Oh, it got stuck. The articulation works really well, which means it is very accurate. Now let's try to remove the 25% size. Okay, deep breath. Oh sh. Looking good. Oof. Now let's check the articulation. Let me put aside the build plate. Okay, let me see. Is it because of elephant's foot? Some are working. Okay, it needs slight of wiggles. Okay, this is very awesome. Something is stuck here. Yeah, I would say the problem is with the elephant's foot here. The leg is kind of stuck. Okay, I would say, yeah, partial success print. Oops. Oops. This area is already free, but around the tails. I think I managed to clear up the articulation for this articulated dragon, except for the feet. Now for some Q&A. Bulldozer asks, is this printer worth it compared to Photon Mono SA? Photon Mono SA is 2K screen with dual rail. Photon Mono 4K is 4K screen with single rail. But my test show it passed the stability torture even with such high speed print. So if you need higher details, Photon Mono 4K it is. Anycubic Photon Mono 4K in-depth test and review video ends here. So kindly subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification, like this video and share if you want. Thank you very much.